I still remember the chill that ran down my spine as I locked the front door behind the parents. The sound of their car fading into the distance was the only indication that I was now alone in the house with two kids who were fast asleep upstairs. It was supposed to be an easy gig. Just a few hours of babysitting for my neighbor's kids while they attended a dinner party. But as I stood there in the foyer, the silence of the house began to feel oppressive. I tried to shake off the feeling by telling myself it was just my imagination. But the creaks and groans of the old house seemed to take on a menacing tone. I decided to distract myself by making some coffee and watching TV in the living room. As I waited for the coffee to brew, I walked over to the window to pull the curtains shut. The sky was a deep shade of indigo, and the trees outside seemed to be swaying in an otherworldly rhythm. I felt a shiver run down my spine as I caught a glimpse of myself in the window reflection. My eyes looked sunken, my skin pale. I quickly pulled the curtains shut and turned on the TV, hoping the noise would drown out the eerie silence. But as I sat down on the couch, I noticed something odd. The kids' toys were scattered all over the floor, but they seemed to be arranged in a deliberate pattern. I tried to brush it off as mere coincidence, but the more I looked at it, the more it seemed like a message. Suddenly, I heard a faint whisper in my ear, "Play with us." I spun around, but there was no one there. My heart racing, I tried to tell myself it was just the wind or my imagination, but the voice seemed so real. And then, I heard it again, "Play with us." This time, it was louder, more insistent. I knew I had to check on the kids, make sure they were okay. As I ran upstairs, the whisper seemed to follow me, echoing off the walls. I burst into their room, and that's when I saw it. The kids were sitting up in bed, their eyes black as coal, and their skin deathly pale. They were staring at me with an unblinking gaze, and their mouths were twisted into a macabre grin. I tried to scream, but my voice was frozen in my throat. And then, everything went black. When I came to, I was lying on the floor, my head throbbing with pain. The kids were nowhere to be seen, but the toys were still arranged in that eerie pattern. As I stumbled out of the house, I realized that I was not alone. The whisper was still echoing in my mind. "Play with us." I never babysat again, and I never told anyone what really happened that night. But sometimes, in the dead of night, I still hear the whisper, "Play with us," and I know that I'll never be alone again.